Well, welcome, folks. It is Between the Posts, and I'll tell you what an exciting week we've got this week. Feeding the show is chock-a-block full. My name is Tony Neal, and I'm joined by Indiana Rogers tonight. How are you, Indy?
I'm all right, thank you, Tony. We had a big weekend up at O'Sullivan Beach, Longsdale, didn't we?
We did. We're going to talk about that in the show tonight. Reconciliation round. Don't worry about what division it is. Worry about the standard of football. It was an absolutely sensational game. We've got a lot around that game coming up. What else have we got on the show tonight, Indy?
We got quite a bit, actually. All the men's and women's division results, plus the ladders with Phil Herden. The division specialist coverage for Division 7 and Division 5. We're interviewing players tonight, as well as having awards plenty, not to mention the goals and marks of this week.
Love that segment, Indy. And of course, folks, we have a special guest come into the studio. It's a bit of a where are they now? Plus, we meet our new commentator, which is all the same person, and he and I have a little buddy bet on an upcoming game. We also look at the Dartfish trends because there's some more stuff going on there, and we have the Farmers Leap Coach of the Week join us in the studio. Stay tuned, coming right up shortly.
Well, g'day footy fans, my name's Phil Herden. Welcome to the Weekend Wrap. We look at all the A-grade results across all the divisions in the Men's Adelaide's Footy League. Thanks to O'Neill Sportswear, the results, the ladders and the big games coming up. It all starts at the CMAX Clinical Research Division 7, where Ingle Farm maintained their position in the top two, handing Flinders University a 49-point loss. Mitchell Park got a rare win, 31 points over Houghton, bit of an upset there. Para Hills destroyed Mawson Lakes by 160 points. Great weather yesterday. Some teams really used it to put up some high scores. And in the big reconciliation game that was streamed yesterday through Filming Footy, OSB Lonsdale and Hackham, a victory there to OSB Lonsdale by 55 points. What does that do to the ladder in the CMAX Clinical Research Division 7? Well, Para Hills and Ingle Farm have broken away. 2-game gap over Flinders Uni, OSB Lonsdale and Houghton on 4 and 3. Further game and a half back to Mitchell Park, but they're rising. Hackham with 1 win, Mawson Lakes stranded with just the 1 premiership point. The top 4 versus the bottom 4 in the CMAX Clinical Research Division 7 when they play again in 2 weeks. Remember, King's birthday, no games this Saturday. OSB Lonsdale, Mitchell Park, possibly the best of the 4 encounters. To the O'Neill Sportswear Division 6 Round 7 saw Rosewater kick 24 goals. Century United, well, they kicked 28. Big margins there, 144, 150 points respectively. At the other end, we had a draw. St. Paul's, bit of a surprise here. They had 1 win coming in. Green Acres were unbeaten, but they have a perfect record, no more. It's a draw, 74 apiece. Tight game as well at Fitzroy. The Rams getting up over the Lions by 4 points there. Slightly better kicking. And Salisbury, well, they again had a field day as well. A 3-figure win, actually not quite, an 80-point win over Adelaide Lutheran. Where does that leave the ladder in the O'Neill Sportswear Division 6? For Green Acres, haven't incurred a loss, but have had a draw. They're on 13 points, half a game ahead of Marion that have the best percentage in the division. And then it's a bit of a gap. It's 1.5 games to Salisbury and Fitzroy. Century United in the 5 on percentage from Adelaide Lutheran. Rosewater a game back. And then at St. Paul's on 1.5 wins. Smithfield with that great win last week. Rama Lodge yet to leave the cabaret. The games of the week here in Division 6. Fitzroy and Rosewater 4 versus 7. Again, top 5 versus bottom 5 across the league. Although the game between Marion and Adelaide Lutheran at least has 2 teams with 2 winning records in the O'Neill Sportswear Division 6. Wakefield Sports Clinic Division 5. Here was the Hawks of West Croydon over the Eagles of Elizabeth at Agana Park. Colonel Light Gardens took care of Pulteney by 30 points. It was Blackfriars in a narrow one. How many times do you score 100 and lose? Woodville South did that yesterday. Blackfriars getting up at home by 4 points. Trinity on the bit at Eastern Park, two northern teams there. And in the battle of the two undefeated sides, it was the Rams of Just Cross taking a care of the Chicks of Kilburn by a solid margin too, 62 points. The ladder leaves Jeps Cross undefeated. Kilburn a game behind Colonel Lake Gardens, as they've been doing all season, sitting there in the slipstream in third spot. Trinity back to a winning record with 8. Something you don't see that often, a team with a losing record in the 5, that's Blackfriars, a superior percentage to Elizabeth. West Croydon, Woodville South, Pulteney, all with 2 wins. Eastern Park with just the 1. Jeps Cross, Colonel Lake Gardens, first versus third match of the round, coming up in a fortnight, Wakefield Sports Clinic Division 5. Although Eastern Park and West Croydon's going to be big as we sort out the bottom of the ladder. To the 9 News Division 4, where again some big scores were the aim of the day. That was Mitcham. This was an upset. 34-point winners over Hectorville. Teams outside the 5 beating 1 in it. Paraka had a field day at Morphy Park's 29 goals, highest score across all the A grades, 126-point win. 38 goals kicked at Kellett Reserve. A closer one at CBC's ground. They beat Walkerville, 33 points. Dolphins are establishing themselves in that top 5, as are Plimpton, who kicked 22 goals at home, beat Kenilworth by 78 points. And Lockleys also cracked the ton in terms of score, 25 goals, and margin, 114 points over Portland. Lockleys and Paraka with 1 loss. PCBC just a further game back. Then it's Plimpton and Hectorville in the 5 at 4 and 3. Morphy Parks and Kenilworth just out at 3 and 4. Walkerville and Mitcham, are they battling for relegation? Mitcham would have loved that win, and it puts Portland in some serious strife 7 games into the season. The best Division 4 games in a fortnight, Plimpton and Hectorville. That's 4th versus 5th. And Mitcham and Walkerville at the other end. Who'll be in the relegation zone? Who'll be out of it after they play in a couple of weeks? Division 3. Flinders Park won on the road at Seaton Ramblers. Pembroke over Gazer by 17 points. Elsewhere, only Mercedes Jets have hit some strong form. They kicked 22 goals to beat Westminster by 88. Hope Valley were undefeated going in. They're undefeated no more. The top 2 clash. Modbury Hawks did it easy at Hope Valley by 52 points, as did Scotch. 76-point winners over Smosh Westlakes, held to just 2 goals in pretty good footy playing conditions. The ladder, Hope Valley with the loss dropped to 2nd, Modbury the new league leaders on percentage. Only Mercedes half a game behind for the Jets. Another point to Flinders Park. So 4 teams separated by just 1 win. Pembroke sit in the 5, 4 and 3. Scotch half a game out. Smosh a full game out of the top 5. Then it drops 2 games to Seaton Ramblers, Westminster and Gazer looking for their first win. Some big games here. Seaton hosting Westminster. Another 8 versus 9. Could get a second win and climb out of the relegation area for the moment. At the top of the ladder, biggest game, Hope Valley and Flinders Park. That's second hosting 4th in a fortnight. To the Breakthrough Mental Health Foundation Division 2. Cracking game at Payneham. The Falcons getting up by 2 points over Salisbury North. Golden Grove maintained their spot at the top of the ladder and kept North Haven winless with a 10-goal margin. Boss Camden are rising up the ranks, defeating Edwardstown at Edwardstown Oval by 19 points. Henley and Athelston, what a game there at Shark Park. Henley holding on by 1 solitary point. And it was Rocks over Adelaide Uni at the Chateau at Campbelltown, winning by 41 points. Bit of movement in the Breakthrough Mental Health Foundation Division 2 ladder. Still Golden Grove and Payneham leading the way. Foss, they've risen to 3rd. Athelston and Rocks in the 5 at 4 and 3. Adelaide Uni, Edwardstown just 8 at 3 and 4. Salisbury North joined by Henley with their second win. North Haven now 2 games back from any degree of safety. In Division 2, Payneham Norwood Union and Foss is second versus third game of the week. But Henley and Salisbury North, another 8v9 battle, which in this competition means everything to avoid relegation. even at this stage of the season. To Division 1, Broadview stayed in touch with the top 5. St. Peter's had won 2 in a row on the field. Broadview with a 3-goal win. Goody Saints, critical win for them, broke a 5-game losing streak, defeated Old Ignatians by 43 points. Sacred Heart absolutely demolished Teacher Gully in a battle of 2 teams in the top 5. 97-point win is the biggest in Div 1. Prince Alfred stayed in the top 2, 15 goals on the day, 54-point winners over Brighton. And in the Stream Team game, tight tussle as expected. Port District's got to a 3-goal lead early in the final quarter. Glenunga got it back to 6. Really tight couple of final minutes. Port District kicking a goal as the final siren sounded to win by 12 points. District, the defending premiers, have won 4 in a row. Another undefeated team toppled. This one, Glenunga in Division 1. The ladder, Glenunga and Port District, followed by Saxo, Glenunga and Prince Alfred. They meet in a fortnight's time. The Stream Team will be there for that. Sacred Heart, Port District, just a game behind. Tea Tree Gully have lost the last 2 teams in the 5 by pretty big margins with pretty low scores. Are they the vulnerable team in the 5? To maybe to Broadview, who are now 3 and 4. Goody Saints be happy to get their 2nd win, just jump over Brighton on percentage. St. Peter's, Old Ignatians in that relegation zone for the moment. So that's all the scores, the ladders, the games in Div 1 next week. In a fortnight's time, Port District host Goodwood Saints. They were the top 2 teams last year. Played the 2nd semi-final. Brighton, Tea Tree Gully. Big game in that mix in the middle of the ladder. Broadview, Old Ignatians. Could Broadview be in the 5 after that game? Maybe. Sacred Heart, St. Peter's. How good a shock at the moment. And Prince Alfred hosting Glenunga. The game of the round, without a doubt. Stream Team will be there for you. Okay, that leaves just Phil's Team of the Week. Some honourable mentions. Mitcham, big upset win over Hectorville. Very honourable mention to St. Paul's Old Scholars, who forced undefeated Greenacres to a draw. Had a won, might have got it. But my Team of the Week, sort of a last team standing. They had a big match, they had a big win, and the Jeps Cross Rams, by defeating undefeated Kilburn by 62 points, they are the sole team across all the A-grade divisions who still have a perfect record. And for being the last team standing, they're my Team of the Week for round 7. Don't forget, folks, plenty of footy news across the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page between the posts out Wednesday night. Make sure you check that out. Until then, I'm Phil Hearn saying enjoy. No footy. No next weekend. No wrap. Well, I'll be back in a fortnight's time. Until then, enjoy the holiday and enjoy your footy. Well, good day, footy fans. My name's Phil Hearn and welcome to the Women's Wrap. I look at all the women's footy games across the Adelaide Footy League, every game, every division, from Saturday, June the 3rd. Our look starts at the Villiers Bakery Division 6, and Golden Grove defeated Goodwood, held them goalless by 15 points. Marion also holding Mitchell Park goalless to win by 75. Big battle at Athelston. The Raggies give Tea Tree Gully their first defeat in a narrow encounter, winning by 3 points. Also a tight one at Flinders Park. Ingle Farm, starting to settle into Division 6, kept in contact before losing by 7 points to Flinders Park. The ladder in the Villiers Bakery Division 6, Tea Tree Gully, that loss dropped them from top to 3rd. It's a 3-way tussle at the top. Athelston, the Raggies, Marion, the Rams, and Tea Tree Gully. Golden Grove, they're 2 games back. Flinders Park, a further game back. Goody Saints 1 win. Mitchell Park and Ingle Farm looking for that first victory. Which one of them will get this weekend? They meet at Roe Park, 1:30 p.m. Well, Saturday week, June the 17th. Of course, everybody weekend off coming up with the King's birthday. Goodwood Saints of Flinders Park also meet at Goody Oval. Tea Tree Gully and Marion, that's game of the week at the top of the ladder. 2 of the top 3 teams there. Golden Grove and Athelston also feature 2 of the top 4 in the Villiers Bakery Division 6. Moving to the Power 8 Division 5, one game we don't know between Modbury and Kilburn. Loretto defeated Woodville South by 3 points. North Haven took care of Elizabeth by 49. Edwardstown over Salisbury North by 63 points. That Loretto win gave Woodville South their first loss. Another undefeated team loses their first game. Woodville South and Loretto Old Scholars tied at the top at 5-1. North Haven a game behind. Edwardstown half a game back. Modbury and Kilman, keep an eye on the Adelaide Footy League website for that result coming through. Salisbury North and Elizabeth, just one ring between them. The matchups in Division 6, well, it's really top 4 versus bottom 4, so hard to find a match of the round. Might see a little bit of separation there. Elizabeth and Modbury, Kilburn, Woodville South, Salisbury North, North Haven, and Loretto hosting Edwardstown. To the Neomorph Mouthguards Division 4, some very different results here. Lockleys with 8 more scoring shots, won by 8 points. Eastern Park with 14 more scoring shots, won by 44 points. Hectorville, Green Acres, I think the score says it all, ouch. Mitcham defeated West Croydon by 23 points. The ladder in the Neomorph Mouthguards Division 4 sees Eastern Park and Hectorville with 1 loss, Mitcham with 2. Then it drops to Lockleys and Scotch battling for the 4th and final playoff spot. 2 games further back, West Croydon, Fitzroy and Green Acres. Green Acres, their chance to build something might happen their next game. They host Fitzroy, who are second last. Hectorville and Mitcham is the game of the round. That is second versus third. Elsewhere, Eastern Park and West Croydon, Lockleys and Scotch Old Collegians. 9 News Division 3. Here it was Flinders Park over the Kenilworth Flinders Uni in the Flinders Bowl, maybe. Pulteney kept Salisbury to just 1 goal, winning by 32 points. Hope Valley took care of Pembroke by 37. Jeps Cross had the bye. 9 News Division 3 ladder. Flinders Park, Pembroke, Hope Valley with byes and so forth. They've all got just 1 loss. Pulteney with 2 losses. Bit of a gap to them in Kenilworth Flinders Uni at 2 and 4. Jeps Cross 2 and 3. Salisbury a long way back. Games next week. Pulteney versus Hope Valley. That's 4th versus 3rd game of the round for 9. Division 2 Brighton with the bye. Golden Grove over Goodwood Saints by 17. Teachery Gully in a tight one over an inaccurate Westminster. Well, 4-5 inaccurate. 5-2 though. Great return, and it got the Gullies the points with 3 points. And Anglevale did it reasonably easy over Gazer in Division 2. The ladder, Teachery Gully, one of only 2 unbeaten sides left in all of women's footy in the Adelaide Footy League. Game ahead of Golden Grove. Goody Saints, Westminster and Anglevale separated by percentage. Gazer there as well with a percentage that needs some boosting. Brighton sit there winless in Division 2. Game of the week, Golden Grove and Westminster is second, hosting 4th. Goody Saints, Gazer, Teacher Gully, Brighton, which is top versus bottom, are the other games. So the Div 1 reserves, Broadview over Morphy Parks by 48. Adelaide Uni, 24 points at Old Ignatians. Henley, first win, congrats to the Sharks in the Rezzies, 8 points over Happy Valley. And Payneham Norwood Union did it pretty easily, smosh West Lakes, a 46-point win. The ladder in the Div 1 reserves, it seems to be a 3-team race. Payneham unbeaten, Broadview, Morphy Parks, and then it's 2 games back to smosh. Happy Valley, Adelaide Uni still got finals thoughts. Henley are just celebrating their win. Old Ignatians still looking for one. To the Division 1, Broadview, 20-point winners over Morphettville Park. Adelaide University held off Old Ignatians by 6 goals. Henley, a big win here by 12 points over Happy Valley. The Vikings still winless, but a pretty competitive effort to kick 6 goals. And then there was Payneham Norwood Union. 101 ways to win a footy game, and Smosh West Lakes had no reply. Payneham Norwood Union, the 3rd undefeated women's team in the Division 1, Broadview and Morphy Parks. It looks like it's a 3-way race for the Division 1 Premiership, given Smosh scoreless yesterday. But they're in the 4 at the moment. Henley and Adelaide Uni would love that spot. Old Ignatians have 1 win. Happy Valley, well, they've been on the road all this time. They've been competitive. They're going to be home pretty soon. In fact, next game in 2 weeks' time. The good news is Happy Valley, the Vikings are at home. The bad news, you get undefeated. Payneham Norwood Union as your first visitor. Elsewhere, Smosh, West Lakes and Broadview is a top 4 battle. Adelaide Uni, Morphy Parks. Old Ignatians and Henley is an interesting one. 2 teams out of the 5 looking in at the moment. Alrighty, that's the women's wrap. No footy next weekend for the King's birthday. The wrap will be back in 2 weeks' time. Until then, I'm Phil Hurton saying thanks for watching. Thanks to O'Neill Sportswear for their support of the segment. And until we're back in a fortnight, enjoy your footy.
Welcome to the weekly wrap with Tommy Javor, and it's a weekly wrap with a difference because I'm right here in the Port District club rooms, and full credit to this man. Win, lose or draw, mate, you said you'd be here. It was a tough one, 7-12 Port District, 6-6 Glenunga, your first loss of the year. Thoughts on the game, Nathan Grimer?
Yeah, no, always time for you, mate. But yeah.
So thank you so much for coming as well.
Well, yeah, no, it's always hard. You know, we've lost the game. We're down here. I'll firstly by start saying that Port is a great footy club. Being from the country myself in Tassie, you walk through the doors and they've heckled you all game. Yep. But you know, first up to have a beer, and you know, it's a great footy club to play at, and it's hard to win here. And we didn't really play our best footy day. We gave ourselves a chance, but you know, they always make you feel welcome here. On to the game. Yeah, no, we were 6-0 coming in. We had played the teams with no disrespect that were the bottom 6 on the ladder going into the day. We played some pretty reasonable footy, but you know, you don't ever want to be a team that's you know, winning well against the teams below you, and when you come up against a really strong opposition like today and serve up what we did, it was really disappointing, and the scoreboard didn't reflect the game. You know, we're down 6 points, you know, with 5 minutes to go, and I'm sort of glad they kicked that last goal and got it back out to 12, because it sort of was a true reflection. It was a 5 or 6 goal game for mine, so yeah, disappointing, but not the end of the world.
They did look like they controlled the game, to be fair, most of the day, apart from the purple patch in the second. Phil Hurton made mention in the call that we find out in the next 3 weeks how good Glenunga really are. You play second, third and fourth. It gets no easier next week, PAC at PAC.
Absolutely, and once again, on paper, PAC are by far, I feel, the best team. Every time I look at the teams on a Thursday night, and you know, they add Brazel to that group, and you know, and we know Chris Curran's a star, and Bradley, and you know, and Matty Mazzini, that many wouldn't know. We tried to recruit. He's an absolute star himself. They're a really good team, but you know, we weren't looking past today. We wanted to come and challenge ourselves against Port, and we knew that if we won, we go 3 games clear. If they grab us, it's back within a game, and I just felt that we got slaughtered at the contest. They, you know, as they do, they're hard, they're tough. Kenny Carpenter had a field day. They defended really well behind the ball, and to come down and score 44 points after averaging 100, you know, it's a bit of a reality check for our guys. But we can work on things from today, and sort of weird, you know, you'd never want to lose a game of footy, and absolutely we would have loved to have pinched that at the end, but I think for where our group's at, the loss is not the worst thing. You know, on paper, we're not much better than last year. People see Abe Davis and Sam Wunke come into the group, but you know, Luke Hollian's now playing in the Waffle, and Tom Beard's injured out for the year. You know, we recruited a bloke from Melbourne who's now gone back home with concussion, who was a great lad, Geordie Capkin, who would have been our centre-half back, and you know, obviously on paper we've got to start scrapping for everything we get. And I think a few of the guys started to drink their own bathwater, and you know me, mate, we will never ever let that happen, and they know pretty clear that it's not acceptable.
One huge out for the club you didn't mention was Tommy Javor, but that's here or there. Big grade have gone better since I left. Hey, look, you are 6-1 though, and any coach of their salt would take that at the start of the year for sure. I like Jack Match's game. He kicked 3 today. He's only 18 years old. Who's been good for you so far across this first 7 rounds? Yeah,
we've actually, you know, and because we're here and we've just lost, I don't want to make excuses. You know, we do have, every team's got injuries, you know what I mean? And we started the year worrying about being over the points with 17-18, and we've played the last 3 weeks on 7. We've probably had injuries to key players, but as you said, Jack Matchett's come in, and you know, Jack doesn't do a pre-season because he's part of the Centre of Excellence at Cricket SA, you know, and he hopefully goes on and becomes a Redback, and he's 18. He's played 3 years of senior footy, and his old man's a harsher critic on him than me. You know, he's kicked 3 goals, and you're pointing out he's probably his deficiency. Tommy Bjarne, who's come from Sturt, is a Spocko lad who could have went to Spock or us, and we're really grateful he chose us. You know, he's kicked 11 or 12 goals and gets to good spots. You know, 15 or 16 touches a game as a small forward. But you know, we are a team that rely on team play. We're not the prettiest to watch. We try and go hard and tough for as long as we can. And when you come up against a team like today that go harder and tougher for longer, you get the result that we did. I will say though, Rammers he's a great man, Rammer, and he's also a great coach. And when they dropped a few games early in the year, I never once for a second thought that they are going to have a premiership hangover or drop off. He's too well structured behind the ball. He's the best coach I find that you just can't move the ball on them. You know, we started the game today paired off because we're hoping to even the numbers, and even 5 minutes into the game, they've got 3 spares behind the ball, but then when they go into offence, they've got even numbers, and he definitely got the chocolates on me today, and he's a premiership coach and I'm not, and that's probably why. But we've got some guys to come back. We've used 32 guys already in 6 games, so everyone's getting a good look at some exposure, and hopefully we can settle our team down after the bye.
Yeah, beautifully done. Everyone's ready for an interview when it's backslapping time after a win, mate. You've suffered your first loss and a tough loss. Full credit to you for coming in and sharing your thoughts. Good luck for the rest of the year.
No, all good. I'll just finish by saying I do really enjoy the show. I love what you're doing, Tommy. No, I do, and it's and I love the stats, and I'm pretty time poor at the moment, so I screenshot all the stats, and then I use them in my Oppo meeting.
Someone else told me they were. I was pretty happy.
And maybe that's why I got caught up today, because I actually went with just everything you said on the show. But love having you around the club when you're there, and thanks to the show. And we've got a huge game after the bye back at. We're not at home, are we? We might drop to it in a row. No, we'll be fine. We'll front up. We'll get back. Tommy Bilby, Mike Wunke will play. Sam Smith will play his first game. Alex Harron will come. Maybe Nick Wunke will come in after the bye, and we'll need all of them plus a few more, I think, to take down Pity and his boys. So appreciate your time.
Thanks for being on the show. That's been Nathan Grimer, coach of the Glenunga Football Club. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. And thanks again to Nathan. That's unbelievable. After a loss, win, lose or draw. It's a Div 1 wrap with a difference. I'm just going to fly through these pretty quickly because I know you're all time poor and you don't want more than a 10 or 15 minute wrap. So quickly, just following on from this game, it was 7-12 to 6-6. The goal right after the siren, really, taking it out to 12 points. Major goal scorers, Matchett kicked 3 and Heffernan kicked 2.
Now it's a stoppage. I reckon Districts are just about home. They pick this up and kick it.
And there's a
I reckon that's it. It's going to be by Sharon.
Soren.
The goal is going to count. Port District are going to win by 2 goals, but it was so much closer than that.
Trent Heffernan is our player in focus. He's number 10 for Port Districts. He was fantastic today with 2 goals in just every touch he had. He wouldn't have had the most touches on the ground, but the impact he had was huge.
From Zach Hawkins, who smothers, picks up, centres for Heffernan, takes the...
Real Aussie dinky guy. Matchett. Matchett. Dad loves a tin. All right, big kick from Heffernan. It's like he's played here before. That is an absolute beauty from outside 50. The Hef goes bang. Port District take the biggest lead of the day of 18 points, and he knows he's sitting on a pair of Archies if he can just get over the line here.
It makes more sense.
Having a look at some of the award winners for today. Hopefully you'll see all these photos flash up as well in time. The Archie's Thong winner was Harry Dwyer on debut, kicked a goal. Every single player got to him. I think the crowd nearly jumped the fence. It was that good.
Brad Hawkins into some open space. 2 in the forward line. What will the bounce do? It sits if he escapes. Cockatoo Collins gets the hand pass out. Bouncing. It's a goal!
On debut.
Harry Dwyer. He's on debut. Now that's his first goal. Coming from everywhere.
Get him now. I know you're... the Mosley Voucher Best Team Player Award for his work rate. Unbelievable, Benny Gould. Again, just worked his ass off all day.
Unfired target. He picked up by Ben Gould. He will lead the pressure.
Nice kick. The Neo North Mouthguard Player of the Day. It was a team effort, but we actually gave the mouthguard to Lockie Gregg and the New Balance voucher. And Darfish Beanie went to that man, Trent Heffernan, who you've been watching on the footage there. Let's have a look at the Roll the Dice Player of the Year votes. It was for Glenunga, 1 vote, Jack Matchett for his 3 goals, the best forward on the day. Abe Davis, 2 votes. The reason Glenunga got back in the game. And that man, Hef, was clearly best on ground for mine, although, speaking of Nathan Grimer, he thought Kenny Carpenter was very good as well. Let's look at our next game, and again, these scores were very late in the day, just before full time, taken off the stream, so apologies if they're not the final score, but they'll certainly give you the gist. We had, late in the game, was Sacred Heart 108, Tea Tree Gully 22, 86 points to the good. Your player in focus is Alex Carlotto, number 39 for Spock, putting together a very strong year, kicking a lot of goals, keeps appearing in the votes, and of course that is the case today.
100 metres the other way, and Alex Carlotto just might push ahead as the best on the ground for Shocks if he converts here. The coach, the ruckman, the on-baller, the goal kicker. Is there anything he can't do? Lateral kick, lovely option. Kailotto, that rover. Short, lead honoured, the coach playing his role in the ruck, but also as an on-baller this afternoon. And up forward for his second goal. They don't come much straighter than that.
We're just going to very quickly look at the Roll the Dice Player of the Year award as this comes up, and I'm only going to be giving you the best on ground in each of these games. And of course, it was that man, Alex Carlotto, a really solid display. He kicks goals, he wins his own ball, and again, helping make Shock a real force in this league. As I said, it's a quick review, so we're going to move right on. PAC Brighton, your player in focus on footage will be PAC's Tom Sumner, number 32.
He's filling in the captaincy duties this afternoon.
He's got a free player there in Sumner.
He helped PAC win by 47 points, or they were sitting at 47 points up late in the day. As we checked the stream, I had to run off to do the interviews. PAC 96, Brighton Districts 49. Tommy Sumner, a great game, well done. And he gets, I think, his first Roll the Dice Player of the Year votes. So well done to him and those others that have polled votes in that game. Broadview and St. Peter's. This was the one that I found hard to tip. It was Nick Little from Broadview, number 7, who you'll be having a look at. He was our best player on the day. He got the chocolates.
Get him.
Little, can he do anything with it?
And help lead Broadview too. They were 18 points up late in the day. I think this might actually be the final score. Broadview 75, St. Peter's 57. An 18-point win there to Broadview at home. They are a very good team at home. They play their ground well, and that would have pleased their coach, Matty Burgess, no end. Looking at the Roll the Dice Player of the Year votes, as you would have known already because he's our player in focus footage, Nick Little was the man to get the 3 votes. Well done to Nick. Good to see him hit top form, making Broadview a much more dangerous prospect. Now, the next game, it's Jade Cleland from Brooklyn Jade Cleland from Goodwood. He's our player. He's number 28. He's our player in focus because he helped Goodwood get back on the winners list.
It will be Kane Cornish. Well, he's actually looking to equal Will Clark on this one. Goes around the body. It's going to be a bit too fat. Not quite make the margin. Oh, Cleland, can he kick the goal? He can! Oh! Third goal, playing as a rover. In he comes Cleland. Has the kick. That looks like it's going through. It is. It snuck in. Right leg goes in towards forward, and there's a good mark. He's got a player out there, and it's a good mark. Taken there by Jay Cleland. In he comes here, Jay Cleland. Going to go from about 40. Not a bad looking kick. Umpires just moving, but not far enough. That's a goal. Well done there by Jay Cleland. Goes again, Cleland with the one arm, gets it down. So Saints get the first 2. So Cleland over the back, excellent tap.
After 6 weeks, they've done it. It was Goodwood 87, Iggy's 45. A 42-point lead there late in the game to Goodwood, which I think might have been the final score. For the Roll the Dice Player of the Year votes, they were all Goodwood players, but it was Jade Cleland, the man, taking home the 3 votes. So we're going to roll the leaderboard for the Player of the Year in the Roll the Dice Award, and you can have a look at those votes. Abe Davis with another couple today for Glenunga in a loss helps get himself up the leaderboard. Bowie Schwartz and Blake Penny were on 8 last week. They haven't added to their tally. And there's plenty of other footballers out there making their moves. Some of those Sacred Heart guys consistently in the best players. Having a look at the ladder now, and all's fair in love and war, and it just tightens up in the top. Glenunga no longer undefeated. Everyone has suffered defeat this year, meaning the top 5, certainly anyone can beat anyone. Port District look dangerous. The game between PAC and Glenunga comes in 2 weeks' time. Maybe some of those injured players come back. It's going to be an absolute barn burner at Park 9. Okay, it is time for a week off, so everyone gets to recharge their batteries. That's why this is being shot right now. Thank you so much to Nathan Grimer and the Port District Football Club. No one hosts a visiting team like Port District. Unbelievable. I'm about to go spend my beer tickets that they've given me. Thanks to Liam for staying back and helping me film this, Tommy and the crew, and everything that's led up in the first 7 rounds has been fantastic. Thanks always for joining me in the Division 1 wrap. I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
It's the opening days of winter football in the Women's League for Division 1, and the Broadview Tigers find themselves comfortably in second position on the ladder, looking to rectify themselves after that semi-final loss in last year's final series, and they're looking really good right now. With me are two of the participants from their last weekend's win against Morphettville Park, Taylor and Hannah. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Now, obviously, you'd be a massive privilege to be part of that win on the weekend, but you'd be lying if you didn't say you wish you were Sasha Taylor after kicking that amazing goal. Definitely something that you would look to get yourself at some point during your careers.
Yeah, she's such a great addition to our side. It's actually only her second game with us. She's come out from North Adelaide and really such a great addition, and she's still in high school, so great things to come for her.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about the weekend, because obviously you didn't necessarily go into this game as clean favourites. You're coming up against a team with two girls that had already kicked 10 goals for the year, and obviously Olivia Evans is one of the highest rated players in the Div 1 Women's right now. How did you try and address that issue going into the game? Did you focus and narrow down on trying to isolate their impact, or more so just trying to find a good structure, I suppose, to counteract the teams?
I think mainly just having faith in the pre-season, all the structures that we have worked on. I think we've really worked hard throughout to kind of play our game, I guess, and not so much a defensive game, just trying to stay attacking as much as possible.
Yeah, and like Morphe's has set the benchmark for women's football for so many years, so we knew that it was going to be a tough game. And really after half-time, they threw everything at us, so credit to them. It was a great game to play.
Yeah, and it was very enjoyable to watch as well on replay, that's for sure. Well, you're second on the ladder, and by the looks of things, you mostly achieved that through a very strong defence, because Payneham, currently sitting at the top, they've got 104 extra points compared to you, but they've only conceded 15 points less. So defensively, you're right on level with them. Is that the coach's focus at the moment, that defence-first mentality?
We feel like we have such a strong we have such a strong defensive team, but that comes down to everyone, really working back. But we also credit that to having really good exits from defence as well. So we're really trying to exit out on those angles, and we've got such a quick side. So once we get the pace out on the wing, some of those girls are pretty hard to stop.
Yeah, and you're looking forward to having another shot at a flag this year after the semi-final exit last year?
Yeah, definitely. I think I think probably owe it to our coaching group a lot as well. The passion that they have for us girls, it kind of makes us very determined to achieve it for them. But I think we are a very tight-knit group to get it done for each other as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate to the feeling of being reassured by people higher up that you're doing the right thing, and that obviously gives people a lot of motivation and confidence. And speaking of the future, you've got the club redevelopment for the new change rooms coming up, and you've now raised $40,000 in preparation for those rooms. They're still trying to aim to get a little bit more money, but are you excited for that opportunity, and is that going to improve the already nice club culture and game day experience?
Yeah, it'll be great to have a new set of club rooms, and I really think it's just going to pave the way for that next kind of generation coming up through the footy club.
Yeah, and just one more thing, because obviously not too long ago, Reconciliation Week, big event across the league, across the nation, of course, for many different reasons. Did the club give you too much education going into that week and create more events around it to inspire you going into the games?
Yes, so we're really lucky. Our footy manager, Sally Summers, she's great and really encourages us to get on board with as many events as we can. And like Reconciliation Week is quite important to us. We have quite a few Indigenous players on our team, so we wanted to put something special together for everyone.
Yeah, we had one of the players in our team, her siblings have a company that designs shirts and stuff, and we were fortunate enough to have Hamish and Kobe Collins design our shirts that the men wore as well. So which was really good.
Yeah, it was great to have it like across the whole club, and then even great at our game we had the Dusty Feet mob out, and they put together a really good pre-game kind of dance hype up thing.
Yeah, well, that's really lovely stuff. Hannah, Taylor, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Obviously, as a Mandate Award, you get rewarded with a pair of Archie thongs as well as the much prized Dartfish beanies. Either frame them on the wall at home or wear them out. And thank you for watching.
Well, folks, it's an absolute pleasure to be joined by Olivia Evans from the Morphettville Park Football Club. Welcome, Olivia.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's just see. Nice smiling face. I like that. We had a little bit of a hiccup on the weekend, but we're going to talk about bouncing back from the loss and moving forward because everyone's seen the scores now.
Yeah.
Tell us about the break coming up. We've got the long weekend, of course, for the King's birthday these days. What are you doing this week? Does it now mean more training? Do you have to do something on Saturday leading into the next game? What happens over the break for you?
We'll still train twice this week. Saturday, no training, won't play obviously either. I think tonight, Monday, is just a recovery session, get the legs rolling, get the stretches through. It was a tough game.
Yeah.
Got to run it out. Wednesday, we'll be regrouping as a family as we do at Morphies.
Great.
Getting together, hyping each other up, ready for 2 weeks in advance.
So the break on Saturday, do you go away anywhere? Do you go and watch a local game somewhere? What's your plans for the weekend?
Sunday I'll be going out to the Sandford game because I love watching Sandford footy and playing it myself.
Of course, you're a player.
Yeah,
yes.
So we'll be going out as Eagles and watching the grand final.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, big weekend plan. Tell us about having that break because it's not only the physical break, as you said tonight, just rolling over, getting the legs moving, but the mental break, the mental side of it. There's the time away that's important and the time together that's important. How important is that time away just to refresh and refocus for you?
Yeah, I think massive for all of us. Like, obviously coming away from a loss, it's very difficult mentally.
Yep.
Having that break over the weekend is amazing physically and mentally. Like, just regrouping at home, having a week off, it's more important than I think people think. Yes. Especially physically as well.
Yeah, and Payneham Norwood Union the next game. So Division 1 football in the women's is so strong, isn't it? There's no easy week.
No, not at all.
Jeez.
Not at all.
So Scotty, your new coach, we interviewed her earlier in the year.
Yep.
Fantastic lady. Obviously brought a new system in. How have you gone learning the new system? The reason I asked that, we had an AFL coach on who we were listening to a while back, and he said it can take 6 months to learn just the back line alone.
Yeah.
So how have you gone learning a whole new system throughout, I guess, the off-season and now in-season?
Really well, actually.
Great.
Scotty has brought a lot to the table. It's good for something new. Like, we've all adjusted really well. I think we've had quite a few players coached by Scotty in the past through Glenelg, and she's always stuck around at Morphees too. So she's a familiar face, and she's brought a lot to the table that we've all adjusted to really well. All right,
now Olivia, we want you to look down the barrel. Tell us what position you play.
I'm a midfielder.
Midfielder. So as a midfielder, I often say get inside your opponent's head. So do you like, there's the ball up and then you run forward and kick goals, or knowing that that's the way that a midfielder can play, get inside your opponent's head. If they like doing that, you've got to go down back and help. Which one are you? Do you go down back and help as well?
Sometimes. I normally press up and push up forward and kick some goals if I can.
Well, if that's your style, play to your strengths.
Yeah.
No worries at all. We can always expand on our game. No,
we can.
No, very good. On-field decisions. Tell us about this. The coach is on the sideline. Something's happened. Sometimes by the time that message gets out there, it's
Yeah.
been and gone. So are there some on-field decisions made by some of the leaders or just team players around that? The example I would give would either be a clearance, or if the opposition kicks a goal or two, do you then go and have to position up on them, or do you stay to your own structure?
I think we stay to our own structure. Like, it's pretty natural for us as a Morphees group to do so, because we've all
Right.
played for each other for quite a few seasons now. It's kind of just natural for us to either set up a wall or man up. There is communication out there from captains or other players as well, but
Right.
I think defensively we're all pretty known to what we have to do.
Yeah, so the gel
Yeah.
is there. How good is that? Because that'll lead into my next question. But first of all, just that team understanding. If you all understand each other's strengths and who's a left footer, who's a right footer, who's a bit yappy but said in the right way with respect and so on,
Yeah.
it makes it quite easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I've been at Morphees for 6 years now,
Ah, excellent.
and I play with the same players I played with 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We are just so gelled, and we've had new players in and out each week, and we've
Yes.
still adjusted. Every single week we've adjusted and played really well.
So did you come through the junior system there, or the underage system?
I came from under 18s in Morphees. I
Yeah.
played for a couple clubs beforehand because I
We
actually
won't go there.
yeah we won't.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, I actually came from rugby, so Morphees was quite new to me when I
Yeah.
first started. So yeah,
Because any young lady out there, I mean, we rate every club, of course, but I know Morphy Park's had a fantastic system for a long time, and we're starting to see juniors now come through to senior football, and it's so exciting because the brand of football is sensational.
yeah.
Tell us about, this is the last one here, the importance of structure and support. So you're playing in a team, you turn up 3 times a week, a couple of, well, hopefully it's only 3,
Yeah.
but a couple of times for training. Then on Saturday,
Yeah.
I know they get the music pumping before games, after games. It's a whole different realm. But what is that like to be in that environment? It must be sensational to know. And you've got support around you.
Yeah, it's incredible. Morphees is the most family-oriented club I've ever been to. Like I said, I've been to a few, and this one is my number one. Since I started at Morphees, I've never looked back because of that family-oriented part of it. The little events that we have brings us all together. Like, they are so important, as
Yes.
well as your trainings, as well as your games to turn up to. Your dinners after training, just as important as well. And Morphees pulls that together really, really well.
I think there's a lot of clubs out there that can hear that and learn from that. I know the success I've had in the past as a player or as a coach, a lot of it's not the 2 hours on game day. No. It's the getting around together beforehand, afterwards, the music, the funny jokes, the good times. So very well answered, Olivia. And geez, it'd be great to get down there and be in that environment. I've come down for a couple of interviews, and we did a night match last year. There would have been 1,000 people at that game.
Yeah.
I'm serious there. Afterwards, a lot of the men got back.
Yeah.
The normal women supporters as well. It was huge.
Yeah.
And you got up in the last quarter, so very well done.
Thanks.
So we would like to present you with the Dartfish beanie, cherished in
Thank
the
you
Adelaide
very
Football
much.
League, and of course the magnificent Archie Stongs. We'll cover the size there, but I tell you what, I tell everyone this: you will sleep in these.
Yeah.
They are absolutely sensational. Olivia, real eye opener. Thank you so much for coming in. We wish you all the best for the next game coming up and for the remainder of the season. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, folks, time for a little bit of a discussion topic. I've put the coach's hat on here, Indy, and a couple of examples came up this week. It happens in Division 1 all the way through to Division 7, but I highlighted it during this game because I talk about this hotspot area, one of the most dangerous kicks in football from that back pocket or half-back flank area just into that centre half-back or a little bit deeper area, because if it comes unstuck, it can be brutal and it can hurt you on the scoreboard. We both saw it, a couple of turnovers. We're going to see them on screen now and look at what happens.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I do admire players trying to escape the stagnation behind those long kick-ins to the packs, but at the same time, if you try to centre the ball at centre-half back too soon, it's a very dangerous position and can lead to absolutely crucial turnovers. So while I admire the ambition, I think they're almost a little bit too trigger-happy on it, and if you want to set up better for the corridor, you actually do need to manage with a pretty reasonable pace to start with, because they're not switching sides, they're not going the long bomb, they're actually just simply centering it up. And it's very easy to bite off and kick a goal from there, Tony.
And when it comes unstuck, it can hurt you on the scoreboard, as we mentioned. Down the ground a little bit further, great for transition. If you're going from the wing to the centre of the ground, maybe diagonally across the ground, fantastic. Do it to your heart's desire. But just in that very deep area of the back line, it can come unstuck. So, as we said, can happen in all divisions. Wanted to highlight that. Try and keep out of that area if you're a coach, and good luck.
One of the statements of the year in Division 1 last weekend, scoring 120 points and limiting their opposition to just 23, Sacred Heart really getting a hold on the competition now and proving that their promotion from Division 2 was definitely nothing to bat an eyelash at. And as the playing coach, Alex Kaialotto, currently paired with me, he is going to win 2 bottles of Random Shot wine as part of our Farmers Leap Coach of the Week award. So congratulations, Alex.
Thank you. Thanks very much. And thanks for the Random Shot wine and the Farmers Leap for sponsoring that as well. Got a couple of mates down the Pathway region, so shout out to Sebby Townsend if he's watching that.
Yeah, well, we got a bit to unpack, obviously, coming from a massive win, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that, well, right now, you're third on the ladder. You haven't lost to too many teams that aren't, very high quality, obviously. Prince Alfred a couple of weeks ago. But what was most stunning, scoring 100 plus points in a game is hard enough, but then limiting your opposition to just 23. Is that the blueprint for the rest of the year now?
It would be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen. So, obviously there's a balance between scoring and defence as well. And, we put a lot of time into our team defence, and we've got some KPIs around that, around, certain numbers we want to hit and a style of play that we want to do. So, any time that we can execute that or do it for a longer period than not, then we're happy with that. So, there's definitely a big emphasis on team defence in the way that we want to play, as well as scoring, which is the fun part of it as well.
Yeah. Sacred Heart third on the ladder at the moment, but Alex himself is runner-up for 2 separate awards right now. He's runner-up in the league for most goals kicked, or should I say third behind another Sacred Heart player, Tristan Carkiro. Is there a bit of friendly competition going on in there, just for the leading goal kicker award at the moment?
Nah, no competition. I firmly know that Tritty's number one man, and happy to play well behind him. So he's been a good forward for us for a number of years, and a very passionate club man. Does a lot of stuff around the place as well. So good to see him still holding his form as he enters his twilight years of footy. So the pleasing part is probably we've had a good even spread of goal kickers. I think most games all the forwards have scored some goals, some midfielders getting involved, and even on the weekend one of our best defenders, Seb Kerish, got snuck down and kicked a goal, which I was pretty happy with.
Well, they definitely know how to spread the butter across the whole bit of the toast, but, well, let's say to have 2 of the top 3 goal kickers be on your team, yourself included, is very nice. And just as a little mid-season spoiler, you are currently sitting runner-up behind Bo Schwartz from the Glenunga Rams for the Roll the Dice Media Award for Player of the Year. How does that make you feel?
Oh yeah, it's good, I suppose. I didn't know anything about the award until a couple of minutes ago, but it sounds like a cool little initiative, and the Footy League and you guys in particular doing some good stuff to promote the league with lots of media stuff and good sponsors and anything like that. That gets people engaged, supporters and sponsors is always a good thing.
Well, we definitely love your work here, and we love what your team is doing right now. So it's those top 2 oppositions now that really loom as the teams to beat. And do you think you're going to be doing some extra homework down the line on Glenunga and Prince Alfred in particular, or are you going to do more homework on yourselves at the moment, just to kind of keep it more introspective?
We've got Glenunga coming up in a couple of weeks. We haven't played them yet. They're sort of our last game before we play everyone. So, there'll be some homework involved to come and play them. But, I think you make a good point. It's continuing to work on what we want to work on and see what is working for us from our overall game plan and what we might need to refine from there as well. I don't think we can just focus on 2 teams as we've seen in Div 1, across a number of years, but in particular this year as well. Like it's all very even, so I don't think just focusing on a couple of teams while they're quality teams is going to help, because who you play that week can just as easily do you in as well. So yeah, we'll continue to prepare for each week.
Yeah, definitely the most wise mindset to go into the league with right now. And just another thing, so you're a playing coach, which means sometimes, if absolutely necessary, you're going to pull the magnet board out onto the field mid-game if it's, obviously red emergency time. But another thing is, do you plan to be in this role for too much longer, or do you think you'll stay in either permanently as a senior coach at some point from the bench and make that transition, or will you eventually hand the baton to someone else so you can focus more on playing?
I don't know. You're trying to retire me from one or the other there. Yeah, it's my first year doing it, so I'm only 7 games in. So we'll see what happens. I'm enjoying it for now, but yeah, still really enjoying playing as well. And there's obviously not too many years ahead more of playing as I'm older. So yeah, want to keep playing while I'm still enjoying it, while it still works for my life as well. So yeah, I'm enjoying the coaching, but yeah, not too sure when it's an amateur level, it's not your full-time job, so other stuff with life and work and family stuff comes into it as well. But yeah, very lucky to have got the opportunity from the club when they're going into Div 1 and have got healthy numbers. We've got a D grade as well this year that hasn't had to search for numbers without guys missing out, so it's a pretty lucky time for me to take on the coaching role when we're in a healthy position with numbers and guys that are really keen. So yeah, I'm enjoying cashing in on that at the moment. It's been good fun.
Well, Alex Caialotto, thank you very much for joining me. You actually handled some of my worst questions today really well, and enjoyed the bye, enjoyed the wine, and good luck to your team for the rest of the season.
No, thanks very much, Indy. Thanks for having us, and yeah, we'll enjoy the week off and get stuck into those Reds.
Jack Moore with the Division 4 wrap in the Adelaide Football League. As we approach the bye, it's time to look at each club, and first, Kenilworth, sitting 7th on the table. 3 wins and 4 losses. Next up, and a team that has taken it all before them in previous years, Walkerville, facing a struggle in season 2023. 8th position with 2 wins and 5 losses. One club who enjoyed a strong start to the season but have been pulled back to the pack are Hectorville. 4 wins and 3 losses see them tied for 4th on the Division 4 table. Unfortunately, Portland struggle at the halfway point, approaching this bye with 0 wins from their 7 games so far, and at this stage look destined to be relegated to Division 5. One team who'd be pretty happy with their start to season 2023 are Plympton. 4 wins and 3 losses to sit 4th on the Division 4 table. It's been a successful season for CBC Old Collegians so far, with 5 wins and 2 losses, having them outright 3rd and chasing that finals position. The team to beat early on was Paraka. They were undefeated through their first few matches and approach at 6 wins and 1 loss, equal first on the table. Joining Paraka are Lockleys, who are on top of the table and look destined for a high finish in season 2023. For them and Paraka, it would be a grand final or bust. Mitcham are in real trouble of being relegated, sitting ninth with 2 wins and 5 losses, equal with Walkerville at the base of the table. Morphettville Park face a challenge to make the finals and avoid relegation, sitting 6th, tied with Kenilworth at 3 wins and 4 losses, approaching the bye. Time to glance at the goal kickers, and Lockley's Ben Horan, fresh off 10 goals at the weekend, leads the way with 34. Adam Proud, Walkerville, 24. Brett Simpson, CBC, 23. Luke Buckby, Paraka, 22. And equal 5th, Jack Goldman-Glasson from Hectorville and James Boston from Walkerville with 21 goals apiece. A tight race for the goal-kicking title in Division 4. Time once again to look at the socials, and first up, Kenilworth, the social calendar, the 2013 reunion, June 24th, and save the date, Saturday 1st of July is the Hall of Fame Ball. Congratulations to James Seemering, who recently played 200 games for the mighty Kookaburras. Moving on to Walkerville now, and some sponsorship news as Prepped and Norwood Foodland join the support of the Cats. Congratulations to Daniel Callery, who recently racked up 250 games. Walkerville look to build in the second half of the season. Plenty happening at Hectorville with karaoke night on the Saturday just gone. The next event, Ladies' Day, Saturday 24th of June. See their Facebook page for more information. Congratulations to Isabel Phillips for 100 games and Luke Broadbent for 200 games. At Portland, Jaden Waite recently played 100 games. Their 2023 sponsors include Marine Tyres, Parla Pizza and Lardleen. Looking at the events calendar, the Past Players Day is fast approaching, round 10, Indigenous round 12, and Ladies' Day, Saturday, 17th of June. Plimpton, lots of events on the calendar, and see their Facebook page to be part of a survey to shape the future of the Plimpton Football Club in the local council area. The main event, 17th day, Breast Cancer and Ladies' Day at the Cannel. See their Facebook page for more information. A good time was had by all at the Adelaide Convention Centre on Saturday night as CBC Old Collegians Football Club and Old Collegians Netball celebrated their Dolphin Ball. It was a fantastic night full of fun and frivolity. At Paraka, they were proud to host an Indigenous round in round 6 against Mitcham. It was a fantastic day with a ceremony and a somber note, but a celebration of what is great about our game, this Indigenous game. Congratulations to Brad Haneker and his partner on the arrival of their child, and Michael Baker on 150 games. At Lockleys, Matthew McDonough played 50 games recently, and Finn Higham has been promoted to West Adelaide Reserves. Congratulations, boys. Their gala ball is on June 24th at the Royal Adelaide Golf Club. See their Facebook page for more information. At Mitcham, their store is now live, so buy some Mitcham merchandise and photos. 200 games for Ollie Clark and 150 games for Marcus Palmer recently. Ladies' Day, July 8th, a sponsorship opportunity to be had on their Facebook page. And don't miss Hawk Talk every week. At Morphettville Park, Dylan Gorge recently racked up 100 games for the Roos. The Division 1 women's team will be wearing a specifically designed breast cancer Guernsey against Broadview on the 12th of August for Pink Sports Day. And plenty of events on the calendar. Let's look at some of the key matches approaching in Division 4. Round 8, Saturday 17th of June, Morphettville Park hosts CBC at Kellett Reserve. Plimpton take on Hectorville in a mid-table clash, and Mitcham face Walkerville with both clubs desperately needing a win. In round 9 on the Saturday 24th of June, Hectorville entertain Morphettville Park at Daly Oval, and Paraka play Plimpton in a top-of-the-table clash. In round 10 on Saturday 1st of July, Lockleys host Paraka in what will determine first spot at this stage. The Division 4 wrap in the Adelaide Football League. I'm Jack Moore.
And Crone takes the lead in the Gilmore. Crone draws clean out from Mizzy. It's a Queensland victory. And a big payday for his owners, winning the English Millennium in a romp.
But Ayrton the class, and Ayrton won the Victoria Handicap.
But Mahuda goes all the way. Where again, Mahuda?
Taliqua, too classy for them. The Blue Star flashing beats them all. A Blue Star gets up the win.
But it's all Globe, 100 metres to go. It's 6 lengths in front. This is an outstanding performance again. And Globe eased down, won the King's Coronation Cup in a canter.
Well, it's the most exciting award in Division 1, next to, of course, the Dartfish being in the thongs, Indy. I must be remiss of me to mention those two. But I tell you what, the Roll the Dice Award is really hotting up. We are 7 rounds in. We'd like to thank Roll the Dice, first of all, so much. But guess what, folks? We've got an updated report on the actual horse. The name, Red Rowie. Let's have a listen from the trainer right now.
Rowan going along okay. Come back from the farm late last week. Had a dash up 600 metres on Saturday morning. Did that well enough. Just got a lot to learn. He hasn't had a lot of exposure to real fast galloping work. He did a bit of evens last time around and maybe strode down once or twice. But we'll put a bit more pressure on him next time around. He's got to learn what his job is and do a bit of speed work. But that's ahead of him over the next little bit. He certainly seems a stronger, more developed horse this time around, so hopefully he can handle a bit more work. But happy with him, and we'll continue to keep you posted as to how he's going.
I'll tell you what, Indy, it's so exciting. We actually had a player neigh at Tommy Javor a couple of weeks ago when he got the 3 votes on game day. Let's have a look at the leaderboard, and I won't say which player, but he's in here.
Oh, absolutely. Bo Schwartz from the Glenunga Rams, dominating the competition right now. And he's got 8 of our media award votes at the moment. And we've got 4 players on 7 votes as well. Alex Caolotto from Sacred Heart, of course, interviewed tonight. Blake Penny from Tea Tree Gully. Abe Davis from Glenunga, so another Ram up there on the list. And Louise Sharrod from the Port District Football Club. So that top 5 rounds out and shows that exceptional clubs need exceptional individuals, because all of those clubs we just mentioned are on the top half of the ladder.
Now, Indy, we have another contender coming into play, and I tell you what, we've watched his highlights. We're going to see them in a moment. This young man here, Jade Cleland, now did a bit of homework. He's from the Wangaratta Magpies, went to Werribee around 2018 or so. Then he came across to West Adelaide, played a handful of games there, and somehow, don't ask us how, but Goodwood have got the recruit of the season maybe in this gentleman. when you see these highlights, just have a look at what he does. He's running in the mud, but he's still able to get aerial supremacy, and it's not just the old-fashioned just punch it anywhere. He taps to certain positions. Then we'll see he actually roves and kicks goals as well, so a very handy player for Goodwood. He got the 3 votes on the weekend. Let's have a look at his highlights.
It will be Kane Cornish. Well, he's actually looking to equal Will Clark on this one. Goes around the body. It's going to be a bit too fat. Not quite make the margin. Oh, Cleland, can he kick the goal? He can! Oh! Third goal, playing as a rover. In he comes Cleland. Has the kick. That looks like it's going through. It is. It snuck in. Right leg goes in towards forward, and there's a good mark. He's got a player out there, and it's a good mark. Taken there by Jay Cleland. In he comes here, Jay Cleland's going to go from about 40. Not a bad looking kick. Umpires just moving, but not far enough. That's a goal well done there by Jay Cleland. Goes again, Cleland with the one arm, gets it down. So Saints get the first 2. So Cleland over the back, excellent tap.
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's exciting times. This is called a microphone, and sitting next to me is a young man that's going to come on board as a commentator very soon, but there's also a rich history in football and cricket. Tim Pillion, welcome.
Thanks, Tony.
Very good friend of mine, mate. We've known each other for over 40 years now. When I ventured over on a little holiday and you welcomed me in, and well, I became a changed man, and here I am living in South Australia. But mate, the reason we've got you on board, because we don't want Gumbies out there talking. We want people that know their football. Your background, mate, I know a couple of league clubs, and I know you don't like to talk about, but I will, Westies and South Adelaide. But Plympton, first of all.
Yep, that's my considered home club.
Yeah, so we've got a gentleman out there that used to run the scoreboard there, Phil. I wonder whether you guys crossed paths. Phil Herden was on the scoreboard at Plympton many moons ago, and might have seen you come through as a junior. I can remember going to your house out there years ago, out the back of the racecourse there.
Yep.
So Plympton, as we said, the 2 league clubs. Then you were also at Scotch Old Collegians when they were in A1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went up there, followed Trevor Potts, who was our coach at Plympton, up to Old Scotch.
Yep.
And had my first taste of coaching footy there as well.
Yeah, so you were the reserves coach and then went out and played A grade straight after.
Yep.
You then went on 2 years in the country.
Country was before that, so left West Adelaide, went country for 2 years,
Yep.
then ended up at Plympton.
Come back. Then stepped into coaching, so you had 2 years as the assistant coach, Seaton Ramblers.
Yeah, so Ray Mildenhall is a neighbour of mine. He coached Seaton for 3 years, and in the second year he just approached me, came across the road and said, can you help out? So I went out there. We had a great 2 years. Played in a prelim and a second semi. No, it must be first semi and prelim final, but didn't quite make it to the end goal. But very good side, lots of winning attitude there. Good club. I really enjoyed my time at Seaton.
Fantastic. Just on a side note there, Ray Mildenhall won the True to Warden Rodder medal back in the Latrobe Valley Football League when I was playing back there. So there's a segue for us that we didn't even know. Tell us about St Michael's. So putting back into developing young men. So the senior 18 or the first 18 at St Michael's. Tell us about that journey.
2 sons, well, daughter and 2 sons, all at St Michael's College, coming through the grades. Sean Jackson was a coach of the first 18 there, and reached out and said, could I help him as an assistant, which I enjoyed.
Yep.
Then he left, and I took over as the senior coach for the next 2 seasons. My sons are 2 years apart, so that's the 3-year journey, with Jacko being the 1-year coach. What a great opportunity to coach first 18 footy at the college system. Boys get to play against what will be future AFL footballers. In my 2 years, we had Aaron Francis, Will Hayward, Darcy Fogarty, and then St Michael's player Derby against, or an Intercol against Henley High.
Which was a very big footy factory.
And Isaac Rankin, Jack Lukosius were there those 2 years as well. So look, it's really good to challenge themselves against those boys.
Yeah, fantastic, Tim. And for yourself, the experience of, the coach at a really good level as well. I look up on the weekend, I know you've followed your sons for many years with their football journeys through whether it be league football or local football and so on. They're at Henley. I look up the scores on the weekend. Henley defeat Athelston by 1 point in Division 2.
We did.
Best player, Jack Pillion.
Yep.
Next in line, Tom Pillion with 4 goals.
Yep.
I know you won't talk it up, but a lot of pride in following your son's football.
Look, both Henley juniors, and to have them both there playing in the senior game at the moment is just really rewarding. Fantastic for Mum and I to go out there and watch them play every weekend. And they had both had really good games on the weekend.
Well, I did a little bit of homework because I know, as I said, you won't talk it up. Jack's been in the best several times. He's playing in the ruck out there at the moment.
Right.
And Tom, you wouldn't believe this, folks, every round except round 3, in round 3 kicks 4 goals against Golden Grove and doesn't get in the best.
Okay.
So there's the intel. I know both yourself and Kath very proud as supporters as any parent would be of their son. So we're going to actually drag you away from that and bring you into the commentary, Tim, because your career is actually in leadership and management, and you develop these people and they've got people under them and so on. Now that's in the corporate world, but there is so much there in the corporate world that goes across into sport.
Yep.
And I was going to ask you a little bit around that leadership management and the 2 or 3 areas that we might look at in leadership, how that can be used in sport.
Yeah, okay. So, I've worked in a banking career all my life and been lucky enough to work in a training area and therefore coaching and development. And leadership is, I believe, key to the culture of any business, on how you set your vision, people come on the pathway, you give context and purpose about what you're trying to achieve, and make sure they've got the skills and the capability to perform those skills. And then, of course, the last part is the motivation to keep them going.
Yes.
Always that friendly pat on the back of well done, good job, listening to them, checking in all the time, making sure they're comfortable, would be the journey I pick up out of leadership straight away.
Yeah. Setting a standard, you've got your own standards, but then, okay, I might reach it once, but as you've said, it's about doing that consistently, isn't it?
Look, everything's got KPIs and you've got to measure against those. I'm more about the cultural side of things and making sure the people are very, very clear on the objective of what you're trying to achieve. And if you've got that, then they do the job.
Yeah, and it's a lot like sport. Know your role, but also teamwork.
Correct.
So know what each other person does and how does that gel together, the team, the synergy is fantastic.
Yeah,
Tim, in your commentating, we've had this chat. So we're going to be doing Broadview in a couple of weeks versus Old Iggy's.
Yep.
I'm going to throw something at you here, mate. We need to do a buddy bet for that game. And just looking at the current form on things, I'd probably suggest that Broadview might get over the line, with all due respect to Old Iggy's. What do you think Broadview might be in front by at quarter time?
So Broadview were the premiers in Division 2 last year, which I got to see quite a bit of, and they work very, very well. They're very well coached. They've got a good system. But I actually really enjoyed Old Iggy's the year they went up as well, and I think they're well coached and well disciplined as well. The home team advantage, Broadview, conditions.
Yeah.
Look, 3 goals, quarter time.
All right. Well, if Old Iggy's are within 3 goals, I'm a winner. If Broadview are up by 3+, you're the winner. So that can be our buddy bet. We'll talk about that more on the day. So I threw that one at you, mate. Listen, I can't wait for your commentating. I reckon there'll be, if you had to think about it, there'll be a bit around analysis. I think it's great for the teams that watch back their vision to understand what other people might be seeing, whether they take that on board or not. So I know coaching will be a big part of it, but the analysis, and you're probably looking at leadership, on-field leadership, and who's communicating, because if you get behind on the scoreboard, body language, the hands on the hips, the head drops. You've played under some great coaches as well, so mate, I can't wait to see what your analysis is going to be compared to myself, and you're in with Matt Gale the week after and a few others, mate. So we're so welcoming to have you on board. We're very lucky at the Adelaide Football League to bring you along, mate. Thanks so much for joining us, giving the viewers out there a bit of background on you, and we can't wait to commentate together, mate.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, folks, it was a special day down in Elizabeth. Steve Johnson, I had the pleasure of coaching him way back in 1994, and he's still going now. 650 games, Indy, can you believe that? There was a special presentation done for Steve that was a bit of a surprise. Let's have a look at that right now. Well done, young man.
So, Dakota and Wayne, could you please unveil the banner? We know that Steve's done it, so go on today, let's get the win.
Well, I can tell you, Indy, a lot of the coaches in Division 1 are utilising the statistics and getting some good results out of it. Statistics are an interesting one because you can take whatever statistics you like and make something from it. So whether it's your own team, you can be looking at the positives, or what's the example we've got here? We can look at the opposition.
Well, we've actually got a good example here, the kick-in to turnover statistic. Every one of these is shown on the playlist of the full Prince Alfred Old Collegians and Brighton Bombers game kick-ins to turnovers. So, for example, if you want to see all of the Prince Alfred kicks into turnovers, just type in the team, the kick into turnover button, and they'll all pop up in one complete playlist for you.
And I know we talk a lot about Dartfish, and every week we could bring something different up because there are so many statistics that you can look at. You can make it very simple for yourself, or you can go into the macros. You can get your playlist done. You can get the actual statistics for individual players, for the team, and also your leaderboards. So who's leading where, who might be having a purple patch, or who might not be going so well. The other thing also Dartfish is doing currently is producing all sports, and we've got a new netball stat being used nationally. We'll put some examples up on the screen for the netball teams out there that we know a lot of the friends are watching as well. So it's interesting to know other sports are involved. So there's an overall that you can get, and we've got a country game here, Ararat versus Minyip Murtoa, so you can get your overall stats. You can also get goal shooting, centre pass, set actions, player stats, and also momentum. Remembering these are also available for football as well. There's a whole pile of stats you can get into. So if you're not using it, get hold of it. If you are using it, by all means call up. Find out a little bit more how you can utilise the Dartfish statistics, certainly to help your coaching. It's the way football and sport is going. They're already using it in 2023, and it will grow and grow beyond this season. Welcome back, folks. It's an absolute pleasure to present the CMAX Clinical Research Division 7. Bit of a wrap this time. I'm doing it a little bit differently because I'm going to talk a lot about the game that we covered on Saturday. But first of all, we're going to have a look at the ladder because the big move is there. O'Sullivan's beats Lonsdale up into 4th position, and we mentioned on the weekend they've had a bit of a rough trot the last few years. They're still hanging in there. They've got a great amount of sponsors. Anthony Bernhard, I can't talk up enough about himself and also the committee around him, what they're doing down there. And I'll tell you what, they're on 4th place on the ladder, and they look like being a contender for the finals. Played a great game of football on the weekend. The next round, well, Hackham played Para Hills with Para Hills up the top, and Hackham in 7th position. I think they're going to find it very difficult for Hackham, especially being a home game. Well, Para Hills, that's a fair distance that they've got to travel. Let's have a look at how that game pans out. I think quite difficult. The second one is Houghton Districts versus Ingle Farm, and I would suggest that is the game of the round. Houghton Districts have moved backwards into 5th position, with Ingle Farm in 2nd position now. So that is our game of the round. Of course, Mawson Lakes versus Flinders Uni. Mawson Lakes down the bottom with 1 win, and Flinders University quite strong at the moment in 3rd position. I would say a danger game for Flinders University. And the second danger game, Mitchell Park, who are sitting in 6th position, play O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale up in 4th position. Mitchell Park at home. It becomes a danger game for O'Sullivan's Beach. Can they win 2 in a row? Can they play consistently? So let's just have a look at the division. We've actually gone out. We've interviewed some of the coaches. We've met some of the players. We've covered a game. We've actually covered 4 of the teams of the 8 up to round 7. So the other 4 teams, I'm coming for you. We'll get out. We'll have a talk with you, hear about your season. That is Mitchell Park, Houghton Districts, Ingle Farm and Mawson Lakes. I cannot wait to get out and promote Division 7. Let's have a talk about the game Saturday. Myself and Indy went down to OSB Lonsdale. We were hosted down there. It was a great game versus Hackham. Both the teams got together and organised the day. Fantastic. So we're going to have a look at some of the highlights here. And the first one, of course, there was about a half an hour prior to the game. There was the introduction, the playing of the Yidaki for reconciliation round and the smoking ceremony. Our best on ground was the winner of the Beanie and the Archies was Trent Grosser. Let's have a look at his interview now.
Well, here we are, folks, with Trent Grosser, the best on ground for O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale, as voted by the commentary team. Trent, thanks for joining us once again. Mate, great team effort out there today.
Yeah, definitely was. We needed a team effort today because they really put it to us today, and we've probably had half our squad this week been crooked during the week and not out on the track. So a few boys struggling and a few laid out. So yeah, really needed a team effort to get over the line today.
Tell us about the synergy and the communication out there, because we were right next to the coaches' bench and players were clapping and cheering from the bench. There was a lot of talk. At three-quarter time, some of the players spoke as well as the coach, who spoke very well. Tell us what that's like now playing, because the team's been down and out for a few years. To be playing, you're a big chance for finals. To play in a team now and hear that sort of culture and feeling going on around the place, what's it like?
Yeah, it's real good. Obviously, the club's struggled a bit of late. This year we've got a lot of young kids that have come in and they haven't had that exposure to the down times. So they're just up and about and really excited, and I guess they bring the energy to us older guys out there.
Mate, you set them up in the middle of the ground. We spoke before the game and you said you're probably going to just walk around a bit. You had a lot of running in the first half, a lot of running around the ground. And it's not just your ruck work, you protect where that ball comes in, but it's your marking, your handballs, your kicking, your set up goals as well. Just take us through that, the amount of work that you do and setting up the players around you to receive that ball.
I suppose I've played footy for a long time. I'm one of the oldest guys out here, so I've played high-level footy for a long time. So just the experience and just coaching those younger guys, just where to stand, where to run, and just getting in as a group before ball ups and everything, and so everyone's on the same page.
Now, Trent, just on finishing, mate, first of all, the Dartfish beanie, you can pop that on, and the Archie thongs. We've got a pair of size 14. We might have to chase even bigger up. Yeah, no, that's the look. Just the whole team's over there, but it was about this spot that you ran in and kicked the goal. We want to send that bit of footage to a lot of the AFL clubs out there, mate. It was a perfect drop punt. You were quite relaxed. You walked in, kicked the goal, and you just said, well, that's what I do. How did that feel, and is there anything special about your preparation for that type of kick?
That was my first goal for the year, actually. So I've been in the goals, played a lot of footy up forward, haven't sort of got on the scoreboard too much this year, so that was the first one. But yeah, I've just got a basic routine and just line up the goals and a few steps, and on the boot, guide it down, and yeah, pretty simple.
Well, Trent, a player is measured by the games they play in the big games. You're the best on ground today for Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale. It's been fantastic by your whole club to get us down there. We know you're a co-captain. You've represented your family, your club and the region fantastically today, mate. You're a worthy winner. Thank you very much. Enjoy the celebrations tonight. And thanks so much for joining us.
No worries, thanks very much, and yeah, we will.
One thing I really want to highlight is a goal here by Trent Grosser. Let's have a look at it, where he kicks this ball from. So there's all this talk, not only in this Adelaide Football League, but we hear about it in the AFL as well. Players snapping around the corner, having a go from too far out and so on. You've got to practice, practice, practice. Don't worry about the division. Look at the standard of play. This gentleman here, Trent Grosser, kicks a goal from around 45 out on a pretty tight angle. We spoke to him about his process, goes through, kicks a goal. Great work, young man.
To do the dirty work and read it to the best of his ability. Oh, nearly taken over the line there. Marcus O'Loughlin keeps it alive and darts out a pass to the big ruckman, who can deliver an incredibly important shot.
Very clever play there, and Riley Broadstock had to stand and wait for that ball. He went back and got the second effort in, and they end up with a shot on goal now through that great work through Marcus O'Loughlin.
Young spectators on the sidelines just giving him the thumbs up there. Decides to go with the drop punt from a tight angle because he can afford to do that.
Okay, let's talk about general play. A link from the back line to the forward line. Of course, the O'Loughlins, there was Marcus number 24, Bevan number 19, and Malik O'Loughlin number 14. Very special piece of play here. We understand they're all related. Very special, and finished off by number 2, Blake Bainbridge. Go back a long way. He's got 2 players here if they want to do a bit like poor play. So that's okay, but what's up the ground? The players up the ground now need to work, and there's a nice lead given there. That's smart play there by young Bevan O'Loughlin. Well done, young man. Gives it off. Oh, just about ran himself into trouble, but got out of it, and that was Marcus O'Loughlin. Up high now. They're already into their forward line. This way, that way. Oh, clever. That was very clever play. And that number 14 there, we may not... I don't think we've got a number... Oh, yes, we have. Malik O'Loughlin. So the 3 O'Loughlins somehow got it from half back to half forward and then finishing with a goal. And did we see who kicked that goal? Here it is now. And that was number 2, which is Blake Bainbridge, playing his role, a supporting role to the O'Loughlin factory there. That was great play. Okay, so I just want to highlight the standard of football. It was a great game. Well, let's talk about it. 4 quarters, really good standard. We thought some of the players might run out of petrol tickets at 23 degrees and quite sunny, but absolutely fantastic standard. A bit on my background, I've worked in the AFL system, I've coached in the SANFL and through several divisions in the Adelaide Footy League. So I talk from, I guess, a little bit of history of knowing the game, if you like. And as I said, we forget the divisions, have a look at the standard of play of some of the highlights up here. So fantastic effort, should hold their heads high, both clubs. Just on finishing, there was a special moment. We'd heard throughout the day and got sent a couple of messages about some of the people around the club. The first one is Adam Rigney, who hand-painted his own boots for Indigenous Round. And the second one is Gordon Thompson. We'd really like to highlight the volunteers, especially in these lower division clubs, the amount of work they do. So Gordon was down there on Friday hand-painting the ground, getting ready for the Indigenous Round. I caught up with him on Saturday. He had a special pair of boots on. They were actually worn by Craig McRae on the MCG a week earlier for the Indigenous Round in the AFL. So let's have a listen to both these people. Special moment down there, and we thank them so much for the opportunity to chat with us. Well, it's an absolute delight to be joined first of all by Adam Rigney from OSB Lonsdale, the co-captain. Welcome, Adam.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us.
And also Gordon Thompson from OSB Lonsdale as well, doing the timekeeping.
I am. Thank you.
Now, very special. Tell us about these boots. I got sent a message this morning. This is unbelievable, folks. This is what Reconciliation Round means for a lot of these people. And
huge amount of respect, mate. Tell us about the boots. You've hand painted them.
I have, yeah. I haven't done it before, so I thought it'd be a pretty good opportunity. Obviously, coming off of injury the last couple of years, I haven't had much time on field, so thought I'd just put a bit of the heart on the boot and see how it went, and they've come up pretty nice, I reckon.
So tell us about the story, mate. I'm fascinated with the jumpers, with everything that goes on Reconciliation Day with the jumpers, but to do your boots, what's the story behind the picture?
Yep, so on the left boot there, I've got, it's pretty well just my version of an Indigenous flag, just a couple of colour changes, obviously with the black boot, so that's pretty a simple one on that side.
Yep.
And then on my right side, there is a Lonsdale Lion, and you can see a couple of the meeting sites there from communities coming in and becoming one at the mighty Lions.
Geez, Adam, that is absolutely sensational, mate. Feeding. I was actually quite touched when I got the message this morning. I said, I've got to catch these guys and get this out there. Gordon, tell us about your shoes, and I believe they're second hand, but while you hear about this one, there's a story behind these as well.
They are second hand. They were worn on the MCG or Etihad last weekend or the weekend before with Craig McRae, the coach of Collingwood, and he knew we were having today. Craig's my stepson, and he knew we were having a reconciliation game here, and he thought, I'll send the boots over and they can be worn over there. The boots were designed and printed by a lady you probably can't pick.
Yep, we'll get
but there's a name down there, a lady in Melbourne. She said the story behind it is that it's all about family and respect and a little bit of hard times. A little bit of hard times through their upbringing and all that. So that's he seemed to be a good idea, and so did I. When I seen him, I fell over backwards when I got him posted to me. So yeah.
Listen, it is a very special day. It's very moving. We've got the ceremony. We'll let yourself go and prepare as well. But this is a really poignant moment, and to see this done, it warms the cockles of your heart. And I think we can all learn from this. This is absolutely sensational. Thank you both so much for spending that time with us and pouring out the efforts of what reconciliation means to us. So fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tony.
Well, welcome back, folks. It's the exciting time of the year when we go back over the last 7 rounds, and Indy, we get to look at the marks and goals of the season so far.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to look at the archive that we've built up so far. Definitely a lot of highlights, reels in there. If we're talking about goal of the year, though, for me, I'm going to have to go with Tom Welsby from the Brighton Brumers. The physics on that bounce were just out of this world, and it's a really nice rarity to see. You can attribute it more to luck than skill, but regardless, it's a very rare outcome, and that's what makes it stand out for me.
It was a good goal, Indy, but I'm going with Flinders Park. Peter Teixeira, when he got around that boundary there and he saw the big sticks come up in front of him and he put the jets on and away he went, so I really liked his goal. What about the marks?
I think we're in agreement here.
I think we are in agreement. Jericho Johns hang for Adelaide Lutheran was fantastic. And it's one of those marks that doesn't actually require the use of slow motion to go back and enjoy the hang time for. It's very reminiscent of something from Jeremy Howe's archives.
Oh, geez, that's a huge call. He'll be loving that. I'll tell you what, the boys will be around him at training now. I tell you what, folks, we've had some other ones sent in as well because you guys have nominated them. So we thank you so much for that. There's a couple of fantastic goals I liked in there. The Salisbury North goal, soccer off the ground, and also our guest on the show tonight, Olivia Evans. When we show this piece of footage, you see how fast she runs, the value of following up. She's a midfielder that did say she likes getting forward. If you're going to go forward, you've got to do something, and that is score the goal. So fantastic work by Olivia as she gets that left foot around the corner. Remember, folks, we're mentioning this because if you've got some contenders to call in with, please send them in. You'll see the number or the email address up on board. It's info@sportsinteractive.biz with any nomination. Remember, when you send it in, please send in the game that was played, the club that you're nominating, the quarter it was in. If you can remember, that would be handy. What round it was, the player's name and number. We respect everything that's sent in. We will go through, have a look at some of the goals and marks, and if they're worthy, we shall certainly put them up. That's it for the goals and marks of the season so far.
Well, it's time to take a look around the league and thank our sponsors for today, 9 News Live plus Police Credit Union, to Tom Wren and the 9 News crew who are headed to Kilburn.
And I'll tell you what, the Powerade Award winner out there is a Fiona Davidson. Now, with all due respect, we've been given the words Fee, so I hope that's the nickname that we go with. So Fee is a volunteer guru. She's running both the canteen and meals kitchens, which are major fundraisers for our club. Well done, Fee. Fee is a born and bred Kilburn girl who puts in so much time and a major factor why our club is thriving in 2023, our 100th year. Corey Solly and Brooke Lounder had a kick for the $1,000, Indy, $1,000, 5AA kick for cash. Unfortunately, with the kick for cash, no winners in the end. So we're still waiting for that to go off. Now, how do people find out what's happening in the future?
Well, if you want to find out what's happening in the future, keep an eye on our social media for the next 9 News Live Club visit,
which is 22nd of June at Lockley's. Now, we've also got a few sponsors to thank, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you to 9 News Adelaide Police Credit Union once again for that $500 cheque that I might mention. Villy's Bakery, of course. SA Gourmet Meats, even though I am a vegetarian, to each their own. West End, Powerade and 5AA.
All right, and also our West End Player of the Week was Ryan Rebick from Para Hills. And young Ryan, you know what he wins here? He wins the James Squire Ginger Beer with spiced rum. Fair income. 400 votes. Outstanding young man. Head over to the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page to vote for Round 7. Well, folks, it's time for the to have a look at last week's winners of the, first of all, the Mark Indy. This is absolutely sensational. Cameron Schutz, the big fella, comes through from Division 7 at the Houghton District Football Club, and he wins a Bianco $100 voucher. And, of course, the goal. Well, the goal-kicking machine down there at Para Hills, Division 7, Daniel Wheatra, he wins the Celebrations a $50 voucher.
Well, now here are the selections for this week. Remember, the top 3 are on the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page. To vote, simply head over to the page and cast your vote using your preference of emoji.
Ball. Race is on now. First one there, Charlie MacArthur backs it on, keeps it in. Goes again, Charlie MacArthur. Second, third attempt on the snap, Charlie MacArthur.
Yeah!
competitor with the hunger to compete. I am for the one who wants to get in their opponent's grill. I am the one who brings you the science. I am Neomorph. I am your protector.
Welcome back to all you viewers there. Well, we've now come to the end of our scheduled program. There will be no football this particular weekend because, unfortunately, it is the one and only bye round for the Adelaide Footy League Div 1 season, but you can still catch all of the broadcast Div 1 games on replay and, of course, the ones upcoming the week after, where we will return you our next Between the Posts show in 2 weeks' time. We would like to thank our guests and our sponsors as well, Tony.
Yeah, it was fantastic to get them all in tonight, Indy. Remember, folks, you can find us on all the social media pages, the Adelaide Football League page and Filming Footy, and we would especially like to thank you for viewing.
Hi, I'm Morgan Knight.
I'm Phil Herden.
I'm Vince Cosme.
Thanks for watching Between the Posts.
Thanks for watching Between the Posts.
Thanks for watching Between the Posts.